Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Marcia and I'm a Black Thumb Gardener. I garden in Ontario, Canada, USDA Zone 5B. Now, we finally finished my seed starting timeline May 5th with my last frost. And guess what? We still have low temperatures around 5 to 6 degrees Celsius for the next 3 days. And last night I brought all of my plants in because we experienced some frost. So on that note, today we're going to be doing some planting outside and I'm going to show you the mess that I have inside because it's been a struggle bringing these plants in and out to harden them off, and I'm over it. I'm done. I'm over it. Let me show you what we have. Okay, yeah, it's a little crazy. There are a lot of plants here, but luckily I had this piece of cardboard that I was able to lay down to put all the plants. I've been doing this back and forth for the past week. I am over it. Everything here has been outside. So the tomatoes have been outside. We have my geraniums. I had an issue with watering and it created these red leaves. They're coming out of it, but this is what happens when you overwater geraniums. I left it for an entire day sitting in water. That was my bad. I forgot about them. So they all ended up with red leaves, but not to worry, they will bounce back. So they're doing fine. These are the Bada Bing white begonias and I'm gonna be lining my front garden. I just have a lot of things here. Here are the cosmos we did in a snail roll. They look really good. Look at that. We have some marigolds and some petunias I started from seed. And then look, these are some of the things I picked up at the plant center. So we have some coleus. I do have coleus in the basement that I started from seed, but I just love the color. Look at that. And then we have some other plants, some sweet potato vine. Yeah, and then the ginger. The ginger just went crazy. I don't know. The ginger went crazy. And oh my gosh, there's so much here. Yeah, more sweet potato vine, more coleus. The colors. Look at this one. And then look at this one. Oh my goodness. And then we have, these are some lobelia that I started from seed. And then at the end, I have some holy basil or tulsi. And then I have a lemon balm in there. So yeah, this is what we're dealing with today. So let's bring them all outside. So one of my garden friends on Instagram hit me up yesterday and told me that she saw some postings in a Facebook group that said that some of the David Austin roses were selling at a grocery store chain called Freshco for $19.99, which is crazy. That's unheard of. And then we started talking and she's like, yeah, the Real Canadian Superstore is selling it for $33. Again, a ridiculous price. So I'm gonna head out and see if we can find those David Austin roses. I'm not sure, it's kind of a gamble. That's a really good price, but we're gonna check. We're gonna go out quickly and come back and get to planting a lot of this. The first place I'm at is Freshco, and the roses here are supposed to be $19.99 and they're David Austin roses. This is like a skip and a jump away from my house. I walk here all the time. This plaza has Starbucks, Dollarama, all the stuff, and I usually do my grocery shopping here as well. So let's see if they do have those roses. Okay, so no roses there. I figured it would be too good to be true. So I'm gonna grab some Starbucks. Some coffee is always needed in the morning. And then we're gonna head on to our next destination. Now that I have my coffee, we're at place 2, which is a Real Canadian Superstore. It's a grocery store and they have a flower market, and this is where the roses are supposed to be. $33. I found them. I picked up this one. This is the climbing rose. I do have a climbing rose in my garden that died. It was in a container and then I put it in the ground and it didn't do well. So I'm gonna replace that rose with this one. 33 bucks. Oh my goodness. It's a David Austin rose. Like, come on. And it looks good. Okay, I went to another location just to see if there were other varieties available. I've been going back and forth with Keisha on Instagram today because we're both at grocery stores trying to find these roses. So I did pick up a second one, and it's also a climber and it's yellow. I can't remember the name right now, but I don't know where I'm gonna put the second one. I have an idea. I do have 2 sections where I keep a clematis, so I might put it in that location. But 33 bucks can't be beat for a Mother's Day gift. I wanted 1 rose from Sheridan Nurseries. So to pick up 2 roses for the price of 1, can't be beat. Okay, I picked up 2 roses. The first is Teasing Georgia. And then the second here, yeah, I took it out of the pot. It doesn't have a lot of established roots, so I think this was grown from a bare root. This is the Generous Gardener. Now I'm putting it here in this spot. This is the entrance for my garden, and I had a climbing rose here, but it didn't do so well. I thought so, but then I pulled it out and it looks like it's growing back. So I'm gonna tuck this into another section of my garden, see if it catches, and then plant over here first. And I'm using this rose food that I've been using for years. Okay, this is all in, and I didn't bury the stem too deep. It's looking good. I'm gonna water this and figure out what to do with this mess. I'm gonna soak the other root in water, and then I'm gonna come back and figure out where to plant these poppies because they were here. Yeah, a lot of work. Here's a view of the other rose I planted. It's near this clematis over here. This is a bleeding heart. And then I put a sweet pea there. And then I've had this trellis here for some time, so I put this climbing rose right beside it. I think this is a good spot. And I removed the dappled willow from this spot. And then the other rose that I thought was dead, I just tucked it right here. It's beside another clematis that's already growing, and the same type of trellis. Okay, it's 10 to 12 and it is burning up outside, and I haven't even planted the other rose. I got one in, I watered it, I soaked the roots of the other one that I took out that I thought was dead. I'm gonna have some quick breakfast and then try to plant the other one. I don't know if I'm gonna be planting today because I really don't like planting in the middle of the day when the sun is at its hottest. It doesn't do well for the plants, and it definitely doesn't do well for me, who is trying to be outside in the middle of the heat. So anyways, you know, gardeners, we always complain. It's either too hot, too cold, too much rain, too much wind. So I'm gonna try and figure this out and plant the roses at least. And then maybe in the evening we plant the other plants. I definitely have to water them. So as soon as I eat, I'm gonna water. And then after that, we'll see what happens for the day. I planted all the roses. It's a bit noisy outside because my neighbors are outside mowing their lawn and watering their garden, as they should. So I'm back inside, and I finished all of the 3 roses, and I watered all the plants outside, and it's too hot. Like, it just got so hot so quickly, and I know I should be enjoying the heat. It's not even that hot. It's not even summer heat, but I'm just, the backyard, so my backyard faces south. The sun beats on my backyard and makes it warmer than the temperatures anywhere else. Like, just straight sun. And I love it for my plants. Like, good for you. Congratulations, you get sun. But for me, working outside, and you can probably even hear the lawnmower now in my neighbor's yard. But anyways, I can't do this. I can't stay outside. So I'm going to be inside for a little bit, and then I'm going to head to Home Depot, and I'm going to grab the irrigation because we are going to be working on irrigation this week. I realized I cannot spend hours in the garden watering all of these plants. I absolutely cannot. I need to add irrigation. That was on my goal this year. I'm going to add the irrigation. I don't want to do it. I'm actually really nervous about it, about water leaking and just bad things happening, but I realize I can't live this life of just watering my garden anymore. So we're gonna head to Home Depot today and pick up some irrigation. Okay, we still have some planting to go, and I just came back outside. I put up the umbrella and it's feeling a little bit better, so the shadow is the umbrella. I have some lettuce that I started from seed here. It's cardinal lettuce, and this is alfresco blend. I started some romaine, but nothing came through, so I have coastal star here. I just spread some seeds here and decided to start some more, so I'm gonna plant that through the garden, some carrots through the garden. And I'm also going to plant some of the perennial flowers in the garden, like yarrow, black-eyed Susan, chocolate lace flower. Yeah, I think it's cool enough to do that. What else do we have to do? Still have the tea garden to plant. And I did go to Home Depot for the irrigation, and I cannot find the pieces that I'm looking for, so I might have to order that online. But yeah, we're gonna start some more carrots. And what else? I don't know. I'm kind of feeling overwhelmed. There's a lot of plants that have to go into the garden still. I don't know where they're gonna go. I really don't have a lot of room, and yeah, I just don't know. Plus, I want to plant the tomatoes, but it's still, the nighttime temperature is around 5-6 degrees. They need to be around 10 degrees in order to plant tomatoes. Well, according for me, to plant tomatoes, so that's not happening today. Yeah, so maybe I'll get started on some lettuce and then see what goes from there. So this is my planting lineup for today. We have some Colorado Yarrow, some Indian Springs Hollyhock, and then we have some Black-eyed Susan here. Dusty Miller will stay here. Some yarrow, common yarrow, and then chocolate lace flower right here. Here for a second. So yesterday my camera died and I didn't get a chance to finish showing you the planting of some of the perennials in my beds, but I will show you today. I didn't do a lot yesterday. I did plant the remaining lettuce that I had, and I did plant some yarrow, some chocolate lace flower, and the hollyhocks. Those are the three things that I planted yesterday. I still have a container of dahlias to plant, the tubers, and a lot of other things that I still have on the deck. So this is going to be kind of a planting week, but for today I'll show you the hollyhocks, the yarrow, and the chocolate lace flower that I planted. I also put in the roses yesterday, and I think I showed you that already. So let's go take a look at the other stuff. So this was the plot that this was a spot we planted up yesterday. So back here I have the hollyhocks. This is the foxglove that we planted a few weeks back. And then in between, I have the Colorado mix yarrow. And this is a yarrow section overall. This is yarrow that I got a few years ago. This is a yellow yarrow from proven winners. And then I planted some other yarrow here, and then I also continued the trail over here and here. And then there's another yarrow in here. This one is called Yarrow Summer Drift. It's like a white puffball that's a yarrow. So this entire section is going to be like a white yarrow, yellow yarrow, and then this is kind of like a pinkish, yellowish yarrow. So it's going to look really nice. And the chocolate lace flower is over here. So I have my fountain, my roses over there. And then I put the chocolate lace flower back here because it's pretty tall. This is echinacea that I grew from seed a few years back. And so this is very tall. So it's gonna grow really nice and tall. And it's gonna be a staggered layout. So you're gonna see the chocolate lace flower, the echinacea, the fountain, and then there's other shrubs, a lot of perennials in here that have not popped up yet, but will. It's gonna look gorgeous. I forgot about the lettuce. This is where I put some of the lettuce seedlings that I started. I don't know why some of them are popping up, or maybe I never planted them. I don't know. Here we go. And the ones we started from seed a few weeks back, they're looking great. The radishes are looking really good. And then I plopped in some kale and some other brassicas here. Okay, morning tip, if you have brassicas outside and you don't have them covered like I do in this bed, I'm checking the leaves every day to see if there are any caterpillar or cabbage moth eggs. And I do notice, there we go, on the back of that, see that yellow dot right there? That's a cabbage moth butterfly egg. Just squash that. And you just have to check your plant every day, and then you'll be fine. Planted a row of coastal star lettuce. That was also in that green container I started from seed. And while I was here, I think you haven't seen that I planted some onions here as well. So even today, a few days after I picked up those roses, people are still messaging me on Instagram about where I got them, which locations specifically, which stores, are there other stores that carry them, because the price is really good. $33 is a steal for roses. And especially for David Austin roses, I used to buy bare root David Austin roses for about $29 US. You could do the conversion to Canadian, and it was great because they would ship a bare root and then I'd be able to plant it, and it was a cheaper way for me to buy different varieties of David Austin roses. The problem is that this year when I went to buy my David Austin rose in February, they stopped shipping to Canada. And that was sad because that was just a great way to get all the new varieties in as well, because, you know, a lot of these stores, they sell like the common varieties of David Austin, but not really some of the new stuff that they're bringing out. So that was a little bit disappointing. So it's nice to actually get my hands on a couple David Austin roses, and probably for cheaper than what the converted rate of getting a bare root with shipping from David Austin themselves from the US over here. So that's why everyone's going crazy. And at the garden center, they said that people were going back on Facebook Marketplace and selling those same roses for $33. They're selling them for $60 on Facebook Marketplace. So it's really a great steal, and these roses go so quickly. So there are a lot of people in Ontario who are out there on the hunt for these roses just because of how great the price is. So that's why I kind of went crazy over it and got 2 different roses. Now the varieties seem to be all the same across all the Loblaws chains. I think they had, I'm trying to remember what the varieties were. I can't remember all of them, but they're pretty much the same because I went to different locations and it was the same thing kind of over and over again. So I don't have a lot of room in my garden for all of these roses, so I think I have enough for now, and they're climbers, and I just can't wait for the next couple of years for them to really build height and to have vigorous blooms. So that's really exciting. But I'm going to show you the carrots that I planted today as well, because I did plant some carrots, and I think that's it for now. So in this bed where I have the sugar snap peas, and look, it's blooming now. Look, that's so exciting. So anyways, in this bed where I have the sugar snap peas, I have some thyme that I planted here, and then I did a row of deep purple. This is the deep purple seeds that I got from West Coast Seeds this past year, so that's exciting. I wanted some color. And then in this bed with all the lettuce, I planted the Chantenay carrots, the short stuff, and I did it along the back row here because there was some space, and I thought this would be a good place to plant some carrots. Okay, that's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed my planting video. It's a bit longer than some of the others, but there's a lot going on in the garden and a lot that I wanted to share with you. The next video that we'll be putting out will be on probably planting tomatoes, which is exciting. I'll show you my method for planting tomatoes in the garden. And we're gonna try and get that deck cleared off and get some of those other plants planted, like some of my summer containers, which is exciting. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. It really helps the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.